The phone buzzed against my ear as my mom's voice cut through, sharp and brimming with purpose. "He'll swing by early Friday to set the table right, Ellie?" she asked, like it was a done deal. I clutched the phone tighter, caught off guard. "Wait, what's happening Friday?" I stammered, my brain scrambling to catch up. "The dinner party for Jake's promotion," she replied, her tone dripping with duh. I frowned, switching the phone to my other ear. "I wasn't invited." Her response came fast, casual, and brutal. "Well, of course not. It's mostly Jake's work crowd and buddies. You wouldn't really fit in." Ouch. The words hit like a slap, but I kept my cool. "So, you still want me to come set the table?" I asked, voice flat. "Exactly," she chirped, like I'd just cracked some genius code. "You're so good at this stuff, Ellie. You've got that eye for detail. Just pop in, set things up. Make it perfect, we'll take it from there." I shut my eyes, letting her words sink in like a slow burn. Not good enough to sit at the table, but plenty useful for the grunt work. I'm Ellie. And to my family, I'm the dependable shadow, the one they call when they need a mess fixed or a scene polished for Jake's endless spotlight moments. I've been sidelined and undervalued for years, but hearing her dismiss me so effortlessly still stung like hell. "That's fine," I said, steady despite the fire simmering inside. "What time?" "4 o'clock sharp," she shot back, all sunshine now. "Table. Candles, appetizers, oh, and grab some extra napkins, we might run short." "Sure," I muttered, forcing a smile she couldn't see. "Thanks, Ellie, you're a lifesaver," she gushed before hanging up. Not even waiting for my goodbye. I set the phone down and stared out my tiny apartment window, frustration bubbling up. I'd moved out years ago to escape this exact trap. But distance didn't seem to matter, they still saw me as their go-to fixer. Then my phone pinged. A reservation app one hadn't touched in ages popped up, a table for one at my favorite spot. Friday night. My finger hovered over it, hesitating, then I tapped reserve. Screw it. For once they could survive without me. By Thursday my phone was a war zone. "Don't forget the napkins." One text from Mom blared. "Jake's boss is bringing his wife. Table settings better be flawless," read another. Each ping tightened my grip, my blood boiling. They didn't even ask if I wanted to help. Just assumed I'd show up as always to play the invisible stagehand. But this time I had a plan. Living on my own was supposed to carve out some space from their demands, and mostly it had, except when family events rolled around. Didn't matter how many miles I put between us. I was still dependable Ellie, the one they leaned on for the crap they wouldn't touch. I stared at my Friday night reservation email, guilt tugging at me for a split second. Was it selfish to ditch them? Then I remembered all the times I dropped everything for them, only to be ignored or shoved aside. Nope. I silenced their texts. This time they'd fend for themselves. Friday morning Mom called. "Ellie, just a heads up, be here by 4. We're counting on you to get everything ready," she said, chipper as ever. I paused, then lied smoothly. "Don't worry. I'll handle it." "Oh good," she sighed, relieved. "You always make things perfect. What would we do without you?" "Yeah," I said softly, I know. But I wasn't prepping for their party. I slipped into my favorite dress, did my makeup, grabbed my purse, nerves and excitement buzzing under my skin. Locking my apartment door, I stepped into the evening air. And a weight I'd carried forever just lifted. For once I wasn't their backup plan. By 7:30 I was at my table, wineglass in hand, grinning like I'd won something. Let them scramble, I thought. Sipping the rich red. Tonight they were on their own. The restaurant hummed with life, soft chatter, clinking glasses, candlelight casting a warm glow. It was peace I hadn't felt in years. The waiter slid up, all charm. "Evening. Ready to order?" "Not yet," I said. "But I'll take your house red to start." He nodded and vanished, leaving me to soak in the moment. Back at my parents' place I could picture the chaos. Mom pacing the kitchen muttering, "Where's Ellie?" Dad shrugging, "She's just late." Jake smirking, probably thinking I bailed because I'm unreliable. They'd figure out soon enough I wasn't coming. The wine arrived and I let it linger on my tongue, glancing around. Couples laughed. Solo diners savored their quiet. It hit me. This was my first real treat in years. No errands, no tables to fuss over, no family barking orders. My phone buzzed in my purse, texts piling up, no doubt. "Where are you?" "Guests are here." "Answer your damn phone." I smirked, ignoring it. Almost felt bad. Almost. when the waiter swung back. I ordered a dish I drooled over forever but never had the right moment for. It came out steaming, gorgeous, and I dug in. This was freedom, choosing me, no strings attached. Dessert sealed the deal. Tiramisu so perfect I nearly laughed out loud. Let them flail. They'd survive. Meanwhile, back at the house it was a total meltdown. Where's she? Mom snapped, storming around the kitchen, her voice hitting that shrill pitch it always did when her plans unraveled. She said she'd be here, Dad offered, half convinced. Maybe she's stuck somewhere. Stuck? Mom threw her hands up. It's not like Ellie has a life. She knew how big this was, how could she just vanish? Jake sauntered in, adjusting his tie with a smug grin. Told you she's flaky. Flaky? Dad shot back, brows up. She's carried this family for years. Probably just lost track of time. Lost track. Mom's voice could have shattered glass. The table's a mess, candles aren't lit. Appetizers are still in the fridge. What do I tell the guests? Jake shrugged, scrolling his phone. Not my circus. Maybe don't bet everything on her next time. Enough, Dad growled, shutting him down. Back at the restaurant, I was in bliss, savoring tiramisu layers, espresso-soaked cake, creamy mascarpone. Across the room, a couple's anniversary laughter floated over. And I felt good. Not just good, alive. My phone buzzed again. I didn't bother. Their crisis wasn't mine tonight. At the house it hit fever pitch. Mom dialed me, hands shaking, and got voicemail. She's ignoring me, she gasped, staring at the phone like it betrayed her. Jake snorted. Told you, unreliable. Enough, Jake, Dad sighed. She's not here. We'll deal. The doorbell rang, guests stepping into a disaster zone. Mom forced a smile, but I knew she was fuming. I didn't care. Later, I sipped my refilled wine, finally peeking at my phone. A barrage. Where are you? It's a mess. You're so selfish, Ellie. I grinned, setting it down. 4 years I'd been their safety net. Tonight they'd learn to fly without it. At home, the party was a train wreck, mismatched silverware, creased tablecloth, unlit candles. Why aren't the appetizers out? Mom hissed at Dad, who fumbled a wine bottle. I'm trying, he snapped. You said Ellie had it. Well, she's not here, Mom fired back. Jake, lounging with a drink, rolled his eyes. Chill. No one cares about the damn tablecloth. This is your night, Jake, Mom snapped. Red-faced. Act like it. A guest muttered, should have hired a real planner, and Mom nearly lost it. I, meanwhile, was digging into cheesecake, eavesdropping on a couple raving about the Amalfi Coast. It sparked something. A hunger for more than this small life my family boxed me into. Travel, freedom, me, I added it all to my list. Then my phone buzzed. Dad. We're sorry, Ellie. Shouldn't have assumed. Can we talk later? I read it twice, a mix of smugness and hope flickering. But tonight wasn't theirs. I turned off my phone, paid the check, and left, the cool air wrapping around me like a hug. A chosen me, and it felt electric. Back home their night imploded. Guests bailed early, leaving a mess of plates and stained glasses. Jake scrolled on, unbothered, while Mom glared at the wreckage. This wouldn't have happened if Ellie showed, she muttered, slamming a dish. Or maybe, Dad said, leaning in, we shouldn't have dumped it all on her. She glared, but he pressed on. She's done more for us than we ever admit. Time we stopped taking her for granted. Mom paused, softening just a crack. I got home, kicked off my shoes, and sank into my couch with a glass of water, calm washing over me. One night wouldn't erase years of being invisible, but it was a start. I'd drawn a line, and it felt like freedom. The next morning I woke up lighter, no frantic texts, no guilt trips. A small win. Over coffee, Dad called. Hey, Ellie, he said, voice gentle. Got a sec? Sure, I replied, guarded. I'm sorry about last night. We leaned on you too hard. It wasn't right. I blinked, thrown. He rarely owned up. It's okay, Dad. I've just felt like a ghost lately. Only useful when you need something. I know, he sighed. We messed up. You're more than that. It hit me hard, but good. We talked a bit more. Not fixing everything, but cracking the door open. Later my friend Tara swung by, all sass and takeout. So, did their precious party crash without you? She grinned. Pretty much, I laughed. But Dad apologized. Shocker. About time, she toasted with a noodle carton. To Ellie, the unsung badass. Weeks later, I faced Mom at a cafe. Your dad said you were upset, she started, stiff. It's not just upset, I cut in. I'm hurt. I've been your cleanup crew for years, and it's like I don't count unless it's for Jake. She bristled, but I pushed on. You didn't invite me, just expected me to work and vanish. That sucks, Mom. She sighed, stirring her coffee. We didn't mean it that way. You're just so reliable. That's the issue, I said. I'm your daughter, not a maid. I deserve better. She nodded, quiet. You're right. We've leaned too hard. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. Things shifted after that. They started asking, not demanding, small steps. One night, they invited me to dinner as a guest. Mom hugged me at the door. We've got it covered. Just enjoy. The table wasn't flawless, but it didn't matter. I was there, seen. Later, over dessert, she smiled. Glad you're here, just as you. It wasn't grand, but it was enough. Driving home, I knew it wasn't the end of old habits, but it was a new start. I'd found my voice, my space, and I wasn't letting it go. This was me finally free.